Hi everybody, just very quickly, I want to just bring up a couple of things that were in that video that we can't play. I'm going to do it in two short bursts so you can sort of think and reflect and put some comments if you want to after each section. So the first one is that we wanted to really share faith with our children. That's the first thing that came out. There's a sense of, really wanting to communicate faith with our children so they have their own faith is probably the most central thing to us as mums, more important than any other aspect of parenting. And then the video, the first video that I put up from Kitchen Table Project, talked about the barriers, or they called them hurdles, and they listed the 5 that are sort of mentioned most often by parents. And they include things like, I don't know where to begin, we don't have enough time in family life is devoted to other things, all this sort of thing. I don't know where to start, I'm not a good enough example, and so on. So they're the 5 that come up most often, but of course each family is unique and we will all have our own additional reasons why it's difficult to share faith in our setting. And I wonder what that is for you. I'm going to say a couple that have been true for us through the years. And if you want to, you don't have to, you can add in the sort of stream that flows out from this video in the chat what yours are. So Pete and I come from different backgrounds. He comes from a non-Christian home and really has no example of parenting for faith in his background. I came from a Christian home. And so our approaches were very different. He looked at the people that had been around him in his church when he became a Christian, and I obviously grew up inside a Christian home and had a very different sort of approach to that. So that was one thing that caused us to disagree and be less effective as people wanting to share faith with our children. The second thing was that he, when he became a Christian, went to a strict and particular Baptist church, and I have an Anglican background. And differences of approach from different denominations can really impact. So, for example, I know that some people have even more contrasting differences than us. For example, a Pentecostal background with an Orthodox background. That's really extreme, and that must be a really tough circle to square, that different approach to churchmanship and how personal my faith is and how I express it. So that's something that might be true in your house, but of course there are other differences. It might be that one parent is still not a Christian, or there is only one parent in your setting, and that makes you think, well, we really don't match the picture of what a Christian home should be. So how can I look my children in the eye and, speak to them about faith? Or you might feel that, you have a partner of a different faith, and that also might be impacting, or no faith. So I wonder what your sort of personal barriers are to feeling that you are the one who should be sharing faith with your child anyway. Pete and I have been married for 28 years, I think, this year. And so, of course, we've had times when we have not felt that we are good role models to our children because we're not good partners to one another. And we've hit bumps in the road along the way, and some of them have been real roadworks in the road. And we've really felt that whatever whatever face we're putting on at church, at home we are struggling to be Christians and Christian examples of anything. And so that makes you feel that maybe you should not be even talking about faith to your children. So that's the first thing I would say. What are your barriers? That's the question to ask. Think what your barriers are, and if you feel able, you may like to share them in the stream below. And then once we've done that, I will talk about the next thing that I put on the list, which was really where I asked you to do a little bit of homework. So, and just to think things through for yourself. So that's it for now. I'll sign off and I'll come back maybe tomorrow when you've had a time to think about this and maybe share your own thoughts.